Coming up on Valley News Live at 10, why the U.S. launched an airstrike tonight against a target in Syria. How far people in the Valley are willing to drive to get the COVID vaccine quicker. Plus, trouble for a truck driver leaving cattle roaming across North Dakota highways. Valley News Live at 10 starts right now.
This is Valley News Live at 10.
We begin tonight with breaking news as the United States military has carried out an airstrike in Syria after rocket attacks on American forces in the region. CNN is reporting that the area targeted was used by two Iranian-backed militia groups.
We're confident in the target that we went after. We know what we hit. And we're confident that that target was being used by the same Shia militia that conducted the strikes.
Tonight's airstrike marks the first military action known under President Biden. A Pentagon spokesperson says that Biden consulted with U.S. allies, including coalition partners. The attacks on American forces in the region occurred in the past 2 weeks, and the sites are believed to be used as part of a weapons smuggling operation by the militias and meant to send a message about the recent attacks. Tonight, there are threats to blow up the Capitol. That's the latest from the militia groups involved in the January 6th insurrection, according to the acting Capitol Police Chief. She says that they're threatening to take action when President Biden addresses Congress. He's considering having an address at some point later this year, even though presidents usually don't give an official State of the Union in the opening months of their first term. The Department of Homeland Security is now requiring states to spend more money to combat domestic terrorism. There are several grant programs that help state and local governments prevent and recover from acts of terrorism. Recipients of some of this grant money will now have to spend at least 7.5% on combating violent extremism. All total, that means DHS is spending $77 million for this purpose. Some of that funding will also be required for states to enhance their cybersecurity efforts. We have more breaking news for you tonight, and it comes from Valley City, where police are investigating a shooting. We're told that one man was shot in the torso around 7 o'clock tonight in the 500 block of 11th Avenue Southwest. The victim was initially taken to Mercy Hospital, then transported to a medical facility in Fargo. The suspect, they say, is in custody and that there is no threat to the public. Police tell us they're spending this evening interviewing subjects and expect to release more information tomorrow. A former West Fargo teacher will be in court tomorrow morning. At this point, Ron Thompson is not in custody. He was charged yesterday with luring a minor for sex online. Police say evidence seized in the investigation shows explicit conversations and photos between Thompson and a girl he believed to be 14 years of age, who was actually an undercover officer. How far would you be willing to travel to get your COVID-19 vaccine? Well, the answer for some is as far as it takes, if it means getting it now. As Valley News Team's Courtney Lockie found out, many in the Valley are hitting the road to get their shot.
As a type 1 diabetic, Kara McDonald has been looking forward to getting her COVID-19 vaccine.
I've heard horror stories from people getting COVID, and I don't want to be that person.
And she was willing to do whatever it took to get it. A clinic in Mahnomen was offering extra doses to those 45 and older. First come, first serve. So McDonald left work in Frazee at noon, driving more than an hour to get her first dose of Moderna's vaccine.
If it's going to do anything to protect me and my family and the country so the country can open back up, yeah, I'll go anywhere.
According to Moorhead Public Health, McDonald isn't the only one going out of her way. They say patients are choosing to drive several hours if it means they can be vaccinated sooner. Minnesota has clinics in Moorhead, Detroit Lakes, Bemidji, Mahnomen, Wheaton, and Alexandria. The state's new vaccine connector can help you find the nearest clinic. Or if you're like McDonald, it can help you find the earliest opening.
If you can change one person's mind about how dangerous a virus can be, well, you might change their mind and save their life.
Thursday, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz announced a goal of vaccinating 70% of those older than 65 by the end of March. That's the same time McDonald will get her second dose of the vaccine. Courtney Lockie, Valley News Live.
And we have links to Minnesota's new vaccine tracker on our website and the VNL News app. You can find this story on our homepage. The CDC also has a new search tool for COVID vaccines. It's vaccinefinder.org. That'll let you find approved providers near them. Just enter the zip code and search radius. A list of nearby pharmacies and health centers will pop up. It'll also show you whether a location has doses in stock or not. Plus, you can also search for a manufacturer if you're looking specifically for a Moderna or Pfizer vaccine. If you're 18 and older with 2 or more high-risk medical conditions, you can now receive the COVID vaccine in Grand Forks County. Grand Forks Public Health and Altru are asking you to contact them if you want to be included on their wait list. Now, if you're already on the wait list, they say someone will be contacting you. If you live in Cass County and have high-risk medical conditions, Fargo-Cass Public Health wants to hear from you. Residents with 2 or more high-risk conditions, regardless of age, are asked to submit a COVID-19 vaccine resident contact form or call the health department. Federal health officials say the second doses of the COVID-19 vaccine are going out faster than the first ones. CDC data is showing that for the first time, the number of second doses administered outpaced first doses over the past week. A total of 68 million vaccine doses have been given to Americans so far, with about 14% of the population receiving at least 1 dose. More than 6% of the population is fully vaccinated. Loss of smell and taste are among the most common side effects of COVID-19. For some, the sensory losses are temporary. For others, the problems linger for weeks, if not months. Experts say there is something that you can do to help from the comfort of your home.
Smell, and then you just take big whiffs of it a couple times a day.
And typically that's going to be something like a flower, like rose, kind of a lemon, eucalyptus, and something like clove.
Dr. Bruns adds that several studies have shown that those who do smell therapy recover better and quicker than those who don't, but warns the results won't be immediate. Both doctors say if your sense of smell is gone for more than 3 months, make an appointment to see a doctor. And don't forget, our VNL Vaccine Tracker is an easy way to keep up with COVID vaccine-related information. It's right on your website, or you can simply open up your phone camera and point it at the QR code on the screen. Then tap the link that pops up. A truck driver was arrested for driving under the influence this afternoon after his trailer, full of cattle, rolled onto its side in western North Dakota. More than a dozen cows were loose after the mishap, and it took dozens of law enforcement officers from 4 different agencies to herd the cattle from the interstate and neighborhoods. February is usually the peak of flu season, with doctors' offices and hospitals packed with patients. However, this year is different. The flu has virtually disappeared from the United States, with reports saying it's far lower than seen in decades. Experts say the measures put in place to fend off the coronavirus are now playing a big factor in why the numbers are down. A Democratic push to include an increase in the minimum wage in the COVID relief bill isn't going to happen. Sources close to the situation say that the Senate parliamentarian has ruled against the move. Some senior Democrats say the removal may actually make it easier to pass the COVID relief bill. Last fall, North Dakota's electoral system was caught in the state Supreme Court after a dead man was elected to the state legislature. State law did not clearly define who had the right to fill the seat. Ultimately, the legislature was given that power. The state house has passed a bill that says the party of the deceased candidate will name the replacement legislator. As part of a package of bills to reshape future legislative sessions, North Dakota's House passed a bill that brings them back to Bismarck every year. The bill allows lawmakers to hold a December session following an election. Similar bills have passed the House and the Senate in recent weeks. Lawmakers in both chambers have expressed interest in having another legislative session during their 2-year terms, including increasing opportunities for special sessions during states of emergency. The United States has a new energy secretary. Today, the Senate confirming President Biden's nominee, Jennifer Granholm. She served 2 terms as Michigan's governor. She was the first woman to be elected in that role in 2002. Former Olympic gymnastics coach John Geddert, who is facing human trafficking and sex crimes, was found dead this afternoon. Michigan's Attorney General says he took his own life. He coached the 2012 U.S. Olympic women's gymnastic team and had ties to the disgraced former gymnastics doctor Larry Nassar. The news that his body was found broke after prosecutors today announced 24 criminal felony charges against him. Minnesota's U.S. Attorney Erica McDonald is stepping down. It's not uncommon for a U.S. attorney to leave office when the president who appointed them leaves the White House. Earlier this week, North Dakota's U.S. Attorney Drew Wrigley also announced his resignation. Still ahead tonight, ever wanted to look around Mars? Well, now you can, thanks to a newly released video from NASA. But first, if you thought today's weather was nice, wait till tomorrow. Hutch will explain.